All right, what am I doing? Should I hit share screen? We already had that, but
Leave it to me. Leave it to me. I'm doing
all
it.
right. I'm not. I'll be drinking coffee again. Oh.
Okay, so what lecture are we covering today?
Look at lesson 1C. See if there's anything left in there.
Okay, blind search.
No.
informed
Look
search.
at 3. It's the third one, and it's part C. I'm trying to see if. No, we didn't do this. This is the end of lesson 1. We need to. No. We need to do 1C, 2, all of it. You can do 3, all of it also. Yeah, that's more than enough. But we start with 1C, this part here, application areas.
Okay, are there any videos that we're gonna watch?
1 second.
Because
Do you see videos there?
No, yeah, let me check. Because if there are any videos that we have to watch, I have to then reshare with my audio pass through.
Oh, you're fast. Yeah. Today I gave you a whole bunch of videos. You wrote them down.
Yeah, I'll go and search them on YouTube, but we'll watch them later, I think. Or you want to cover these first?
But okay, then 1C is where we are today, application areas. And then after that, all those videos, and then come back to 2 and 3. And by midnight, we should be done with that.
Okay, so then, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The zebra's breakfast usually. The deers are for lunch.
Okay. So now do we begin?
Yes. I'm trying to see how many we have here. Participants 17. We're supposed to have 32. Hold on. What time is it? It's about 25 seconds to go. Yeah, we got 17 minus you and me is 15.
Woohoo! We actually got it set up in time.
Yeah. All right, we're getting better. We're up to 18. I guess nobody expects us to be ready until, what is it, 7:15? They're estimating we're too damn slow.
Yeah, it's like, I'll come in 20 minutes when everything is set up in class.
They're smart. All right, they got us pegged. They don't know I had coffee before. You're all set, babe?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's just I have siblings yelling around in foreign languages. So
that's nice. We must be up to 20. I don't see a number up there. I'm supposed to have 32. Hold on. I don't see any. Oh, 18. It's no holiday today, right? All right, they're coming in slowly but surely. Let's scare them by actually having been started. All right, whoever's here, 20, that's close. 2/3 of us are here. And Sandy's keeping attendance, right? Sandy, you there?
Yeah, I am.
All right. Show
There's
your lovely
attendance.
face. Where are you? Oh, that's you? My God. Sandy, who drew that picture? That's awful.
Professor, who's taking attendance for 304?
That's a good question. I thought Anvin was.
I think I forgot to tell him. Okay, I'll email him.
All right, yeah, please. At least I need a couple.
I
That's
don't think I
actually
have
required.
I don't think I have his email, but okay, we'll just remind him in the next
I
class.
need a bunch of them for this course, but Sandy's been rather, on the ball. Okay, all right. So we're ready to start talking application areas, and Ray will have some videos for us later. So the first thing is the one I need, obviously. An application area for computers, for AI. You expect to communicate with this agent in a natural language. You want it to, like English, Chinese, the last thing you want to do is push keys. Obviously, if you're me, the last thing you want to do is push keys, since I never know which ones to push. But if the machine is intelligent, why the hell should I have to? So the following AI applications have gotten a lot of interest from researchers. Game playing, and we said Dartmouth, 1956, we had our first AI conference, if you will. And the big thing in 1956 was game playing. And puzzles were big back then. But again, this is 2020. We don't need games anymore. We want applications that are going to make our lives easier. So, all right, but game playing and puzzles. Automated reasoning. We have brains. Why don't computers have brains? How come they can't reason just as we can? Oh, all right, I'm cheating. I'm looking at how many are here. Well, minus the two of us, Ray, it's 25 others. Okay, automated reasoning. We want the Watson, what's his name? Oh my God, who's the big guy in crime fighting in the 19th century?
Giuliani?
No, Sherlock Holmes. No, Sherlock Holmes. He knows how to catch guilty people. How does he deduce that you must be a professor? Because you have chalk all over your pants. So automated reasoning. We want to use deduction. We would like some conclusions based upon evidence that we observe. Expert systems. We want to know, why do we need people all the time to give us the answers? We would like software to be able to store knowledge for us. And of course, language understanding. I don't speak Russian. I don't speak a lot of languages. I would like my computer to help me out. I'll talk English into it, and I want it to talk Swahili out of it. That makes sense. I have a cleaning lady. She was here for my first class. She was dusting around me. My God, that's the only problem. She's very good, but she never knows what the hell I'm asking for. She can speak Spanish, and I speak English. I speak no Spanish. So it would be nice when I ask her what to do that it actually gets done. Who knows? So language understanding, game playing and puzzles, automated reasoning, expert systems, language understanding. Those are 4 early application areas, and they're still important. Okay, you can click. Or I can click if you don't want to click. All right. Now, I feel like this we did. There was a little bit of this. Okay. So this is the 15 puzzle. We talked about it the last class. And I didn't use the 15 puzzle to illustrate the problems throughout the, chapter 2 and 3, because it's too big. And to draw the moves takes up most of the page. So most of the time you saw me, or if you're reading the text in chapter 2 and 3, you see mostly examples with the 3 puzzle. And when you're illustrating a problem, usually 2 things are given. The start state that you see up top, and I read them in BFS fashion. Breadth first search, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So I read them as 2, 3, 1 blank. Usually that's where a puzzle will start. And then 1, 2, 3 blank, the first row, the second row. So I'm reading them the same way. And you want to get from a start state to a goal state. The 15 puzzle to its left, a little bit larger. And if you're writing a program to solve the 15 puzzle, it may well take a heck of a lot of time. There's a lot of combinations. You know, I'm not even going to guesstimate what they are. 15 factorial. Yeah, go ahead.
I think we covered some of this.
I feel like we did.
Yeah, we did all. Oh, yeah, the game playing traversals. We did.
I think you skipped a page or two. You were using your red pen. Okay. Yeah, I thought they were familiar. Okay. So, all right, fine.
I think we stopped at automated reasoning.
You're right. All right. This is it. So, simple puzzles. And, heuristic measures. Okay, we'll skip that. I was asking you to tell me what the heuristics were that I was using. All right, automated reasoning. You present software with a collection of facts, and one uses deduction. You know, just the way Sherlock Holmes used deduction throughout his, throughout the movie, or throughout the book. So here's an example. Michael and Louis each have a job. The jobs are post office clerk and French professor. Michael only speaks English, and Louis holds a PhD in French. Who holds which job? Now, you can't tell for sure, but you would think if somebody goes to all the trouble of getting a PhD in French, they probably know how to use it. That's not a guarantee. A lot of PhDs in New York City are probably driving taxi cabs. That's just the way life is. But, you know, you can deduce with some modicum of certainty that the person with the French PhD is probably the French professor, and that's it. And the other one probably post office clerk. Although don't be fooled. When I was an undergraduate, where was I? At Stony Brook? Yeah, I guess some of the time. I spent one summer as a post office clerk. And I remember, I don't know if I told you this, but one time I was on a roll, and I was throwing letters into boxes, you know, left and right very fast. So of course the supervisor came around. He was sure that I was faking it and just throwing them randomly. Of course he checked them out, and he found that everything was correct. I didn't need my brain to sort the letters. You know, I did it automatically. God knows where they were flying, but they all landed correctly. So, okay. I'm going to click sometimes. No, go ahead, Ray. All right, so here, the jobs puzzle. This is a well-known puzzle. There's a nice textbook where this is illustrated. I did not use this example in my textbook. Whenever you use someone else's examples, you need to pay for them. I don't know, maybe they wanted $50 for this. That's not a lot. But the publisher, well, he's a little cheap. And again, if I had 100 of these, you know, that's, what is that, $5,000? So, okay, but here's the puzzle, and it's well known. There are 4 people: Roberta, Thelma, Steve, and Pete. All right, keep track of this. Among them, they hold 8 different jobs. Life is expensive. You need 2 jobs to get by, all right? Each holds exactly 2 jobs. The jobs are chef, guard, nurse, clerk, police officer, and gender not implied. The police person might be a male, might be a female, who knows? You got a teacher, an actor. I'm saying actor, but that could be a woman, right? The Sharon Stone. Oh my God. What was that sexy movie she was in? Oh, you know it. I know it, but my head's always empty when I need it. And a boxer. And again, the boxer could be a female, who knows? The job of nurse is held by a male. On my last, time in a hospital, I had some males. One guy, I had hiccups, and he didn't know how to get rid of them. I had to tell him how to get rid of hiccups, but he sort of caught on after a while. The husband of the chef is the clerk. Roberta is not a boxer. Peter has no education past the 9th grade. Roberta, the chef, and the police officer went golfing together. Question, who holds which job? Don't turn the page. We need to solve this puzzle. All right. What you're going to need, you need some common sense. And there's very little of that we know in the real world. Let's see. The job of nurse is held by a male. Now, the first thing we're going to need, let's see, we need to know which names are possessed by women and which names are possessed by males. And don't tell me you know for sure. Roberta, yeah, okay, that's a woman. Thelma, well, Thelma and Louise, that's obviously a woman. But Steve could be Stevie. That's an old, Stevie Nicks. She used to sing. I forget the group. You're not going to remember because that goes way back. And Pete, I think Pete's a male's name. So we need to know some of these things. There's not enough information unless you know some of that. Let's see. The job of nurse. Okay. So the job of nurse is a male. So either Steve or Pete is the nurse. So you can start crossing things out. The husband of the chef is the clerk. Let's see. What does that tell you? Hold it. Maybe I'm being sexist. When this book was put out, Automated Reasoning, Wos, W-O-S, Overbeek, and one more author. You could look it up. It was women who married men, or men who married women. This is 2020. What did Obama pass? The open sex rule, or men can marry men, women can marry women? You know that. I mean, I don't care. It never bothered me. I wish all the men would marry other men. It's, what do we have? 7 billion women? I'm here, and I could marry half of them. The job of nurse is held by a male. All right. So we don't get as much information this year as we did many years ago. The husband of the chef is the clerk. So the clerk can't be the same person as the chef. Nobody, still in 2020, nobody's allowed to marry themselves. See, we're getting a lot of information, not from the puzzle, but from our common sense about the world. All right. Roberta's not a boxer. Oh my God. My head is always empty when especially when my class is in my room here. Roberta is not a boxer. Wait a minute. Who was De Niro? What was that boxing movie? Empty head. So, okay. So Roberta is not a boxer. Peter has no education past the 9th grade. Oh, let's see. Nurse. Peter can't be the nurse. You have to, actually, you need at least 2 years of college to be a nurse. 4 years if you want the upper pay. Police officer. Well, you need a high school diploma. Teacher? I don't know. Professors, what do we need? I think professors need, pass the 5th grade or something. I don't know. So the point is, each of these facts are giving you more clues onto who holds which job. So Roberta, the chef, and the police officer went golfing together. Therefore, you know Roberta's not the chef. The person who's the chef is not the police officer. Okay. And who holds which job? I failed to solve this problem twice because I kept making the mistake that I told you not to make. I kept assuming that the actor had to be a male, but no, actor, that's sort of a neutral gender. So at that point, we should be able to solve the problem. But we would like our software, Prolog. We said we're going to solve a problem like this. I got to make one up, one that is not solved by every student in America. So I will make up some problems similar to this, and using Prolog, which will be relevant once we get to chapter 5, you should be able to solve. Prolog is good for solving problems like this, where deduction, reasoning, logic is required. Okay. Oh, Ray, give it a hit. Okay. So you need a representation language. And it might look something like this. That upside down L on the left, the second bullet item, that reads, that's negation. Not has a job, ex-nurse. The vertical line there means or, male X. So not has a job, ex-nurse, or male X. In English.
So it's not like in set theory.
No. I'm going to tell you what it's not. So alternately, if you want to read this in English, unnegate it and make that a if clause. So if X is the nurse, then I was going to say then X, then X must be a male. Okay. P implies Q is the same as not P or Q. Write that down and convince yourself that that's a tautology. Okay, so if X has the job of nurse, then it must be the case that X is a male. Go ahead, Ray.
No, I was just gonna, 1 second.
No, go back. What are you doing to me? All right, so we can read it as the logic goes, or we can translate it into something we can understand ourselves.
I was thinking in terms of set theory, where like when you have a line, it's like you have X in a set such that.
But you're right. No, you're correct. There are several ways to interpret this. First, I read it the way it looks, and then I translate it into something that makes sense to humans. Hold on. Okay, second one. Not has a job, Roberta Boxer. That's, that's the way it looks. Now we translate it. Roberta is not the boxer. That was not hard. Okay. And these statements are called clauses. And that's sort of what I said. Vertical slash, you could read as or. The upside down L, is that backwards too? I don't know. L, turn it over. Upside down and rotate, I don't know, vertically. You know what an L looks like. Okay. There you go. The first clause can be interpreted as, if X has the job of nurse, then X is male. All right. So even if you translate everything from the jobs puzzle that we just passed, you're still not going to have enough information. You need world knowledge or common sense knowledge. And that's what we were trying to get at. That if you're a teacher, chances are you finished, wow, come on. You did more than high school. You probably finished, you had to finish college. I think that's the law. To be an elementary school teacher, you need 4 years of college, and you have to have so many credits in pedagogy, how to teach. I know you wouldn't believe it, that the teachers get training in how to teach. Professors, they leave us on our own. And you could tell that. We never know what the hell we're doing. Okay, so, all right. You can hit the next one, Ray. Okay. So the job of nurse is held by a male. And how do you know that Steve and Pete are male names? You don't. When I was the graduate advisor in the department, we had a lot of Chinese students back in those days, 100 years ago. And I knew, well, I won't say how I knew, but I knew when a name was female, feminine. So Ling Ling, Jing Jing, those are female names. They sound delicate. Male names, Chow Wen. I can't think of any others now. But why? Because I dealt with a lot of students, so I knew male and female names in Chinese. Then we ended up with a lot of Indian names or Pakistani. Then I couldn't tell what the heck a female name was. Then I was moonlighting at NYIT, and I had 29 Indian students. The 30th might have been from Pakistan. So that was a shock. All of a sudden, I didn't know what was female, what was male. And then they helped me out. If the name ends in an A or an I think I got it, then chances are it's a feminine name. Okay, but the point is, you know this because it's part of your culture. That's why I knew Chinese names. Who knows? Maybe I used to date Chinese women in my youth, whenever that was. All right. So the next bullet, we are told that the husband of the chef is the clerk. Then you better give some information there. Husbands are male. And again, this is what I meant. We also have to know about gender rules. Husbands don't have to be male anymore. That was before, what was that, the equal marriage law? Who knows? I don't care. People are people. Just be happy. That's my philosophy. If you want to marry, if you're male and you want to marry a guy, go ahead. I don't care. Just don't cause trouble for other people. That's all I ask. So husband's a male. So the clerk's got to be a male. If you have an old-fashioned sense of who's allowed to marry whom. There you go. Husbands are married to wives. Says who? That was before the old days. And wives, usually female. Well, I don't know. Maybe a wife can be male. I'm not saying anymore. So then Roberta or Thelma's the chef, if you're old-fashioned about the marital roles. So Pete has no education past the 9th grade. Here, Pete can't be the nurse. I would want, when I was in the hospital, I would like my nurses to have some college education. I want to know that they know what the heck they're doing. And if I meet a police officer, I would hope he knows how to shoot a gun accurately so he doesn't aim it at me instead of who he was chasing. And if I'm in the 3rd grade, I would like my teacher to know something. I'm sorry. When you're in elementary school, most of the time, your teachers are females. It's just the way it is. I think young kids are afraid of men. So for that reason, I remember all my teachers, grades 1 through 6, were females. So you need to know something about the real world. This is where AI hits a brick wall. We can use deduction, logic is there, but why should Prolog, the language we're going to use to solve a puzzle like this, why should Prolog know about gender, about jobs in the real world? That's something we know about. Machines don't know this stuff. Okay, Ray, hit it. So once the puzzle is represented in an appropriate language, we call it a clause language that we're using. You need common sense or world knowledge has been given to it. You need to give a search methodology. Roberta is not the boxer. In fact, when you go over this at home, you'll see that most of the information in the puzzle is given about Roberta. So maybe if you want a strategy, a good one might be start with Roberta and try to get her job correct before you go on to the other three people. And it might progress a little faster. There you go. All right. Ray, give it a click. All right. So a little more automated reasoning. We need knowledge representation. If condition, then action. Sort of the general way of representing a production rule. If you're traveling on the Long Island Expressway, I think I might have used this example already, and you see a flashing red light in your rear view mirror, might not be a bad idea to slow down and pull over to the shoulder. I think I told you that my mother looked at me and said, we were driving to my sister's house on Long Island. Stephen, I never saw you look scared before, because I knew I was ready. I was waiting for a nice hefty speeding ticket. You know, the highway opened up, it was all mine, boom. I stepped on the gas and I flew. So that's the way it goes. And if you're going to create an expert system, maybe it's for automobile diagnosis. If the car won't start, check the headlights. Why check the headlights? Because the battery is probably the most common thing to fail. And if the headlight doesn't go on, well, yeah, you're right. Maybe the headlight is broken, but that doesn't happen as often as the light burning out. You know, you've had it on too long, maybe. So if the car won't start, then checking the headlights is not a bad place to be. Ask that question. If the headlight works, what's the next thing you check? Check the gas gauge. Oh my God. I was driving my parents another time. The car wouldn't start. The lights worked. I forgot to put gas in the car. You know, it was on empty. And my dad is not one to let something like that slip by. So I was trying not to let him know why the car wouldn't start, because I would have gotten enough teasing. So if the gas tank is empty, add gasoline. Try to do it so your father doesn't see you. Right? This is when I was 20. Who knows? So if the headlights don't work, like we said, check the battery. Okay, Ray, hit it. And, you know, if it's more detailed enough, you don't need a repairman. You know, you can sort of troubleshoot things yourself. Cellular automata. Don't click, leave it here, but we will talk about cellular automata in detail a little bit later. I don't know, chapter 3, 4, somewhere. But since we have the name up on the top here, you can view a cellular automaton. You talked about automata machines in your 304 classes, a theoretical model of computation. So a cellular automaton, yeah, this is plural, automata, is a collection of cells in n-dimensional space. We're going to look in 2 dimensions, 1 dimension, and you're supposed to, hold on. Yeah, you're supposed to have a term paper in this course. So I would like it if a couple of you go into cellular automata theory or applications in detail. And again, at the end of the semester, we would like it if you gave some talks. Maybe Ray would record them, and we'll see where we go with that. Okay, So cellular automata, each cell may be in any one of a small number of states, typically two, where the states would be alive and dead, uh, or on and off. And when you take your switching theory class, you took that. If you're in AI, you had that some time ago. So, a flip-flop can be on or it can be off. SR flip-flops, JK, D, Tau. I used to teach hardware classes. I think Professor Gertner has, and Professor Pong, who knows? Somebody's teaching them. Now here, we'll come back to these things in more detail, but this is a one-dimensional cellular automata. I know you're looking at it and you're telling me that it looks like it's two-dimensional. I see a triangle. Okay, but actually it's a one-dimensional CA. We said we always have abbreviations. CA, cellular automaton, or automata. Take your pick. Imagine the CA is 80 boxes across, okay? And if the particular one of the 80 cells is on, then you see black. You see the black ink in front of you. If it's off, then you see white. So at the top, most of the cells are off. You see whiteness. At the bottom, what's that, about half, 2/3 of the cells are on because you see a lot of black ink. Okay, but we'll talk more about the state of a CA and what it might mean. So we'll come back, but CAs are important in computer science, and we'll see why. And maybe some of you will enlighten us or even a little more than that. Okay. Ray, you can hit it. If you're going to study artificial intelligence, you have to know about uncertainty. There's uncertainty everywhere. We as people, we don't have the answers to everything. So chance, I love that word. Chance is an inimitable component of our existence. When you get up in the morning, how do you know that you're not going to be hit with some virus? So even if you're a damn good looking guy, you can't show your face to the world. I forgot my mask yesterday. So fortunately, the owner of the restaurant was a friend. So he gave me an extra mask. All right. So here's one way to deal with uncertainty. Using fuzzy sets. First, an example. Suppose you drive. I haven't had a car in some time. You go to a shopping mall. It's very crowded. You want to park your car. What do you see? You see what should have been 2 empty spots in front of you. But what you notice is some bozo, that was a popular clown years ago. So if you want to, talk about a dumb person, you call them a bozo or a clown, has taken up 2 spots with his car. So is that car in the spot on your left, or is that car in your spot on the right? Well, that bozo is in both spots to a certain extent, enough so that you can park your car. That's the way, clowns are like that. Always people that drive have a little less smarts than the rest of us. All right, so fuzzy sets. Consider 2 sets. I can't see you now, but you want the set of people who are satisfied with their jobs. So I'm raising my hand. I don't know if you raised yours or not. You're somewhere out there. Okay, now put your hand down. I like what I do. Not now. I hate this. I want to be able to see you. Maybe you're sticking your tongue out, making faces at me. I need to know, Sanjay. Were you doing that, Mr. Barung? All right, so, and now I want to know the set of people who are unsatisfied with their jobs. My hand goes up again. Why? Because they ought to double my salary. That's the way it is. So a fuzzy set is a set with a membership function, where the membership function is a number between 0 and 1, And the magnitude of the number, how big it is a measure of membership in that set. So a set of people who are satisfied with their jobs, suppose I say I'm in that set with 0.7, which is pretty good. You know, I'm mostly satisfied. Set of people who are not satisfied, I say 0.3. You know, start, you know, my salary, send it up some more, see what happens to my, you know, satisfaction factor. Okay. So uncertainty. There's other measures of uncertainty in AI work. Belief. You go to your doctor. Do I have the coronavirus? So she checks your nose. What do? They stick something up your nose, or wherever they stick things. And the doctor tells you, I believe you don't have the coronavirus. You feel like you're dying. Your nose is stuffed. Everything is wrong. But that could be just a viral infection. The coronavirus is not the only one. So the notion of belief, the doctor believes you have this, or she believes you have that. So belief is another measure of uncertainty. And there are others. We might use probability theory to measure uncertainty. Some of you may want to enlighten us on this, you know, different measures of uncertainty, because in intelligence, things are not always positively yes or positively no. Sometimes you're not certain about what the heck is going on. Okay. Ray, what's he doing in that picture? What is that? He doesn't know which path to take? I took the road not traveled. I don't know. That looks like Los Angeles's highways. Okay. All right. History of AI. Professor Kopec, I told you he passed away a few years back. He was big on this. So it dates back to ancient Egyptians. And he was an international master in chess. I mentioned that to you. Back in Egypt, so we're talking 3,000 years ago. That was even 800 to 1,000 years before the Romans. You know, the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. You had the rise and fall of Egypt before that. Now it's our turn, you know, America. So in Egypt, they built statues that contained hidden priests that would provide counsel to the citizens. Okay, that's nice. That's the problem. People got hoodwinked into thinking that it was the statues that were giving advice, not the people hiding inside the, you know, statues. All right. Oh, Aristotle, he was big on reasoning. George Boole, Boolean logic, that's quite common. McCulloch and Pitts, go back to 1943. They wanted to know why the neurons in a human body behave the way they do. When you go to a doctor and she hits your knee, what do I have? Little triangular hammers. Usually it's a nice polished stone. And they hit your knee. Ah, there you go. The picture shows that. That's a woman hitting some kid's knee. All right, so she's not going to break his kneecap. But it takes about 1/5 of a second and your knee pops up. So that's a reflex. And we'll talk about neural networks later on, and we'll see what they're good for. Obviously, throughout your body, they're good for making sure that if a bus is traveling your way at 50 miles an hour, you know how to get out of the way. Okay? But maybe if you want to build intelligent networks to solve problems, it's a little bit different. All right, but networks, parallel, distributed, okay. Those kids look scared. All right, give it a hit, Ray. Speaking of the devil, this is a mathematical model of a neuron, a single mathematical of a threshold logic unit, TLU. And if we put 10,000 of these together, maybe we can solve some useful problems. So in this model, we observe there are two inputs, X1 and X2. Okay. And there's one output labeled with a T. T for threshold. If the, what do we want to say? If the energy pushing through this neuron is sufficient, is greater than the threshold, then we say the neuron will fire. Okay, it's energized. W1 and W2 are known as the weights, WEIGHTS. And we're going to take the dot product. X1 and X2 is the input vector. So X bar equals X1 comma X2. Okay, so you got one vector. The weight vector, W1 comma W2, the weight vector. The dot product, X bar dot W bar, and you guys have had physics, so you know about dot products. That's X1 times W1. It's the component-wise product. X1 times W1. Yeah, those look like twos on top, but that's a one. X1 and W1 times, actually just multiplied by X2 times W2. If that quantity, if the dot product, the component-wise product, is greater than or equal to T, where T is the threshold, then the neuron fires. Okay? Okay. And obviously we'll have a lot more to say about neural networks, what they have to do with intelligence. So here we have a neuron where weights have been filled in. X1 and X2. X1 is 1. X2 is 1. And I'm cheating. I'm looking at the computations on the right. I'm allowed to cheat. So X1 times W1 plus X2 times W2, that's the threshold T. And I'm sort of solving for T in terms of everything else. So X2, which is the input at the bottom, X2, and we used to do this in middle school, so that's reasonable cheating. X2 is equal to minus X1 plus 1.5. Okay. So if the input, if the dot product is greater than T, which is 1.5, then there's going to be a 1 coming out of Y, the output line there. Okay. And, yeah, I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say than that. Okay, Ray, give us a hit. So a little more detail here. X1 and X2, and that's some binary, equation we're trying to solve. The 4 possible values for the vector X, right? X with a bar, that's X1 comma X2. 0, 0, they're both 0 inputs. 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. There are no other possibilities. Okay. Now we draw a picture, and the square on the right, we talk about two-dimensional space. So a square is in 2 dimensions. Oh my God, what was that book? Flat Space, Flat Man? I don't know, I gotta look it up. That was big many years ago, that book. But here is a square, obviously well, that's not obvious, in 2-dimensional space. Ah, Flatland, thank you. Somebody was helpful out there. All right, yeah. I got to look that up and get some insights. Maybe one of you for a term paper might want to talk about flatland. So we draw the square, and the vertices are labeled 0, 0, 0, 1, etc. So there's 4 vertices here. And the output of this threshold logic unit is 1 whenever the output of the device is 1, and it's 0 otherwise. So take a look at the square, and for 1, 1, the output is 1, and in the other 3 cases, the output is 0. That line that you see, it's sort of a little dotted, that's known as the discriminant, okay? A discriminant is able to discriminate, which means can tell the difference between when the logic unit is activated, the output is 1, versus when the output is not activated, the output is 0. So later on, we'll look at how this could be useful to us. Okay. Give it a hit, Ray. Oh, Samuels worked at IBM more than 20 years. Back in 1952, he was the first, not one of, I take it back, one of the first computer scientist, we'll say that, or if you want to say researcher, who studied the field of learning, all right? And he wanted to build software that was capable of playing checkers well. He wanted to beat human checker masters. You know, whoever was great at checkers, I'm sorry. In 1952, it was hot if you could beat a human expert, you know, chess checker player. So he would ask good checker players, what do you consider important? And when he asked these people, one tidbit or one piece of knowledge that was important: center control. What'd you do to the size of my... Put it back. Thank you. I got to watch Ray. All right. Center control. You should be controlling the center of the board so that your opponent has less, less freedom in where he or she could move. And also, it's a good thing for you to possess queens. Wait a minute. Is that queens or kings? I used to be good at checkers when I was 13 years old. It's been a while. I guess kings. So if you can have 2 checker pieces on top of each other, you can move backwards and forward. Okay, those were 2 things that were important. 1956, this is Dartmouth University. Newell and Simon. Newell was the professor, Simon was his student. I think I got that right. And they developed a logic theorist capable of proving theorems in propositional logic. Okay, and Samuel had somewhat north of 50 heuristics in his checker playing program. And Greenblatt, he's the first to play club level chess. And Kopek was in the chess club at Dartmouth, and he developed some software that was good at playing chess. Okay. Ray, give me a hit. Okay. Microworlds. Put an L in there. It's not microword, it's microworld. Okay, good. He's actually correct. Don't forget to push save. Get an L. WORLD. Thank you. Um, so the trouble with AI is, it doesn't scale well to the world itself. Um, Breweries, that's why you see those the beer dancing around in the middle of the slide. But there are, you know, microbreweries. When I was in China, there was some damn good beer coming out of some of those microbreweries. Some of it was awful, so it depended on where you went, just like anything else. So Shrewdblue, uh, uh, Terry Winograd, MIT, in the 1960s, his PhD dissertation. And he had a robot arm that could manipulate blocks according to English commands. So pick up the blue block and move it to beneath the yellow pyramid. Yeah, it wouldn't go the other way around. Okay. And I used to think that was like nothing. It seemed too trivial to discuss. But actually, if you look at some of the warehouses, what am I thinking of? 1 second. Like I said, my brain is empty. 2 seconds. Let me rinse it down. Amazon. Nobody goes to a store anymore, especially with the pandemic. You want to buy something, you get your credit card out and you get to Amazon, and that's it. And what's going on up at the warehouse? You could have people wrapping up your packages and finding what it is you wanted. What do they have? 10 million different items you could buy from them. But what they do most of the time is they have robots, robots on wheels. And you ask for something, and they have algorithms which make sure these robots go to the right place in your warehouse and find what it is that you're trying to buy and get it to the shipping department as quickly as possible. And then I actually think they use a human to do the packing, some of it, and boo, it races into your part of the world. And I used to think that the Winograd's thesis was kind of trivial, but actually, billions of dollars of items are routed to their proper location using these robots that actually and unfortunately put people out of jobs. So it's worth a lot of money. The simple robots that move very quickly on a grid with rails, and you buy a baby carriage because your wife is expecting, boom, it's on its way to your house in no time at all. All right, so general problem solver, GPS. How to solve problems using heuristics. Okay. And Weizenbaum and Colby. Eliezer from, My Fair Lady. Rex Harrison was in love with Julie Andrews. I think that was her. Yeah, I mean, he didn't want to admit that, of course. That's a beautiful movie. I did not see the Broadway show, but the movie was lovely. And the reason the software that I was thinking of is called Eliezer, because Rex Harrison was trying to transform the woman. Her name was Eliezer. she had a terrible, I shouldn't say terrible. She had a Cockney accent, which means anyone from America would not be able to understand what the heck she was saying. Maybe a British person could. She sold flowers in the movie. So the software, the idea, the object was to design software capable of behaving like a person. And in 2020, you're used to calling these devices bots, B-O-T-S. So we would like software that can deal in the world as if they were, human, and they try to fool us. So Ray, your homework, no, go back, we're not done. Go back and try to find a copy of Eliezer. I don't like all of them, not tonight, but find a copy that doesn't try to charge you. Somehow when I go, they must think I'm rich, I'm not. But we would like a copy of Eliezer that's reasonable, okay? And we'll play it in class in the next week or two. And a little more sophisticated is Alice, A-L-I-C-E, Carnegie Mellon, I believe. And their bots, whichever bots they developed, are more sophisticated. And you almost begin to feel you're talking to a human, or at least a humanoid. So we got two. Alice, we need, well, that would be the best one, but the elementary one from the 1960s, Eliezer, named after the character in that beautiful play.
Professor, someone in the chat asked a question. Do we get any homework these 2 weeks?
Oh, I want to give that person a lot of homework. Tell them to stay after class. Yeah, they give your name later on. I'm going to load you up with homework. You should be reading chapter 1. And it wouldn't hurt to, to look at the research literature and see what the heck is going on out there. If by homework you mean programming, that's coming up soon. So just hang in there. So we need Alice and we need Eliezer. Okay, Ray? All right, so some more history. Playing expert level chess by the end of the 1970s. Bell, which was Ken Thompson's. And Kopek actually knew these people. He, like I said, he was in the Dartmouth Chess Club, the first program to achieve master level play. In the 1980s, what did we have? Expert systems, okay. And for diagnosing problems with your cars, check engine light. That's, where the heck did that come from? That used to give me a lot of heartaches, but how does it determine when it says check engine light, what the heck is wrong with the car? So you want an expert system to troubleshoot your car for you. And fuzzy systems, certainly we have more to say there. In the 80s, neural networks became relevant again. Deep Blue, chess play, and checker play. Jonathan Schaefer, Chinook, 1989. Anything else still there? Ray, give it a, yeah. In the 90s, of course, neural computing, evolutionary computation. We spend a lot of time there. And actually, I don't like to give homework until it's too late for you to do it. Then I have all my students crying. That's more fun, but we'll see. Okay. But you should be reading and trying to do the homework problems in chapter 1. We'll go over them. Ray has all the answers. We'll see. Okay. So there's Kasparov, getting defeated by Deeper Blue. That was IBM's state-of-the-art back in '97. Oh, give it a hit. Dendril, that was an early expert system. Unknown chemical compounds. If you have a PhD in chemistry, CH2CO4, I don't know. If I give you some formula like that, you should be able to construct what the molecule looks like. Okay. Mycin, trying to determine what infectious blood diseases a person might have. Mycin, over 400 rules. And it was used for training residents at Stanford Hospital. XCON, these are old systems, but it was a start. And since the 80s, thousands of expert systems were developed. I used to teach courses in expert systems, but it's not research level anymore. You know, it's well developed, and we have troubleshooters for cars and troubleshooters for medical centers. So we have those systems developed mostly. Ray, anything else there? So this is what Ray is going to be showing us. This is one of them. The technologies in the past 15, 20 years. Alvin, ALVINN, to control a vehicle. This was developed at Carnegie Mellon. Okay. Financial decisions, purchasing and selling stocks, web-based agents. The Google car. That's not a very good-looking Google car, but there's one there. Watson. They have Watsons for anything, you know, to invest your money well, to have recipes. And what the heck is deep learning? And what's the Blue Brain Project? So Ray's going to talk about all these things in the next class. Give me another click. Is there anything there?
I think this is the last. No, there's a couple.
All right, go back. Yeah, this was it. So what's coming up? You know, we said the first 50 years of AI, playing games, expert systems, you know, that was it. What's coming up in the next 50 years? So we want intelligent systems that are small, don't get in the way, and embedded, maybe, you know, implanted in your brain. Wouldn't it be nice when you go to take an exam in AI that you have a chip that you could just squeeze into your head somewhere? You know, when the teacher's not looking, just drill a hole in your head and put the implant in, and you're guaranteed an A. Then if you've got these implants in your head, what does it mean to be human? How much of you is artificial? You got circuits all over the place. So where does the person end and the machine begin? Vice versa. And Kopek was big on this movie. Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams in there. I think that's a man that's growing backwards, you know, through time. I don't know. Maybe we need to see some of these movies. Okay, that should be it. So homework, there are problems at the end of chapter 1. And what I'd like you to do when I ask next class for you to give us some of the answers, you can do so. Okay, so there's a summary, but please read the chapter and make sure you can answer some of the questions that I ask you to. Yeah, there's 12 or 15 questions there. Okay. Now, let's just take a look. We got a few minutes. Chapters 2 and 3. Search. If you're going to have an intelligent agent, it should be capable of searching. When we talk about where are you going? So when you talk about uninformed search, That's like blind search. We'd like to be able to find things without having intelligence. So this is a well-known problem in AI folklore, problems that are popular. So there are three missionaries. You see them. That's on the left bank of a river, and three cannibals. So I don't know if a cannibal is a person that eats other people. I don't know how good we taste. I don't want to know. So what you want to do, constraint based search, you want to get all three missionaries and all three cannibals to the other side of the river, and never should there be more cannibals than missionaries on either side. Because if there are, then one or more of the missionaries are going to be flavored up with soy sauce. What'd you like? A little pepper, some garlic. The point is they're not going to be around too long. So blind search. And we'll go back over breadth first search, depth first search, and then a variation on depth first search that's a little more efficient. Chapter 3, let's go to the first page of chapter 3, Ray. There's a guy climbing up a mountain. No, chapter 3. Ding, 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 ding. Keep going. Go forward. That was it. This is it. Informed search, which means as we search for something, we have information about it, which makes our search more efficient. Okay, and we'll see some of those along the way. Okay, are there any questions out there?
So in a way, informed search is kind of like hunting. When a predator is looking for the prey, it basically like looks for the trail, looks for
it might smell something, or whatever. Yeah, and hopefully the animal is also intelligent, so it knows how to escape the hunter with the rifle and stays around long enough to get the last laugh. People destroy too much of the planet.
Is that why people are afraid of AI?
People are afraid of AI for many reasons. I would think now, in 2020, the main reason is job security. Jobs are disappearing. AI, what did we say? Amazon. People are scared of Amazon, and why New York didn't want Amazon in the city. Yeah, it would be good to have their money here, but unfortunately, a warehouse for Amazon doesn't need too many humans. It's sort of the robots don't need us. Maybe the 50 or 100 people in a warehouse the size, of several football fields. That's not too many people. So we're afraid of being replaced and wages going down or disappearing. It's nice that with AI, robots perform tasks that people don't wish to perform. They're usually dirty places, heavy tasks. But if you don't have a college degree, you're out of luck. That we don't need you. If you don't have a high school diploma, what kind of work do you get? It's not too good. The coronavirus, getting meat, chicken, beef. People work in plants with these animals and very dense areas, and it's not a safe place to be because there's germs everywhere. So the rate of what the hell's the word? Not contacting, but getting. All right, you could give me a better word, but getting the virus is very high for jobs like that, where you're surrounded with animals that may have germs and viruses. Jobs that AI can perform, we don't need people anymore for nice jobs. We need people for terrible jobs. And sometimes the terrible jobs are the only ones that are available. So AI is replacing people in many instances. That's why people are afraid of AI. You know, you got robots making cars. That means we don't need. Why should we pay automobile workers what they make in the old days? $40 an hour. You know, a tremendous amount of money. They don't make that anymore because the robots, the automation lines, the cars almost make themselves. And yet you have robots doing the welding and robots putting the parts on the car as needed. So the main fear in this, in this decade is that the world doesn't need us. The world doesn't need to pay us because robots can do anything that we can do just about. So it's a rough world. But I think that's our main fear right now, Ray, that we're being put out of business. You know, the world doesn't need people to get things built. Okay. So I guess we're done for today. Ray, get those videos together. You got about 8 or 10 of them. We'd like to do a couple of them each time and try to get Alice and Eliza together as well.
What is that like a program?
Eliza's a program that imitates being a person, and so is Alice.
And what am I supposed to do? Find videos on them?
Find them and just show them to us.
Okay.
Or I heard that you have some friends in this class. Delegate. Pass it along to some other people. Okay?
Okay.
All right, hang in there. All right, peace. Relax, everybody. I'll see you again on Wednesday.
Thank you, Professor. Have a good one.
All right, hang in there.
If anybody has questions,
I'm here.
2 minutes.
Professor, quick question. You mentioned about like AI and stuff in terms of work. Do you need like a PhD or a master's to be in AI?
No. If you're good at programming, a bachelor's degree would be fine. You should know Lisp. You should know Prolog and the languages you're good at already. C++ and, you name it. So no. And you should know some of the platforms that are used. You should know about neural nets. You should know about evolutionary computation. And you'll know those things by the end of this course. Some of the paradigms that are used in AI. So taking this course should put you closer to where you need to be. Do all the programming that I assign. If I give you a choice, answer everything. Don't just answer M out of N. Answer N out of N of the problems. The programs are coming soon, whoever asked about homework. But for now, just read chapter 1 and look at the questions at the back of the text, and you should give me some of the answers when we get there.
All right. Thanks, Professor.
No, hang in there. Peace. Hey, Pavlo. Yeah, he was in a couple of my classes. He's still here. Yeah, who's asking for homework? Why? See, this is the kind of student I like. The one that wants to do nothing. I like that. Very good. Hang in there. Beat him up when you find out who it was. I'm on your side. My job is to make you do homework. I'll keep you busy. All right. Oh.
And I'm just going to give you a reminder. It's 7:45 right now. If anybody wants to ask questions, they can. But just make sure to hit the red button to end the meeting properly. I'll wait until you do it, obviously.
Please.
So that,
yeah.
So that I can then get the lecture recordings and do my thing.
Right. Okay. All right. So some of you are out there and you have questions to ask. I'm here.